Are there any questions? Any clarifications needed?
The first graduating class out of the school, I've gone through every growing pain there is. I have 3 sons, went through this system, okay? I had kids going from 6 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon because of overcrowding. I had a kid graduate from 8th grade and he didn't have to stay for his freshman year. I've gone through consolidation. I've gone through everything, all right? My taxes are enormous with this school district. I am now a widow, all right, trying to hang on to my house. You say the taxes won't go up. Last year, you went for the highest rate you could, and you raised the taxes. To say that this won't go up in taxes is wrong, because it will. And you will have to pay pensions, you will have to pay salaries, you will have to pay for health insurance for teachers. This school district gets over half of my taxes. If I lose my house, it's because I can't hang on to it, mainly because the school district has raised them so high. I am struggling. I have so many empty houses on my block, and you say kids are going to be coming, they probably will. But there's also a lot of kids that move out of the area. Where do you think the money's going to come from? We lost 2 big businesses in Round Beach to help our tax rates. The energy costs are going up. Nothing is going down. And you got so many people that don't have jobs. Why are you doing this now? Why? And what is the tax rate going to be this year on the tax? And you keep saying it's going to go up, 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 and up. I'm not the only senior that feels this way.
Yes,
My grandparents built before I was born in 1937. My husband's parents built in 1940. We've seen every growing thing there is. I want to stay in my house, but I'm not going to be able to. When everybody else went down on my tax bill last year, Romney School went up. And I do have one more question. Someone told me you built a clinic.
No, ma'am.
It has to be staffed.
That is not 100% true.
What is true about that?
The Lake County visited a few years ago and wanted to partner with the school district. Lake County will be building a facility on our campus, and Lake County will be staffing, the health department will be staffing that clinic.
And where do those monies come from, sir? The taxpayer. Exactly.
They got a grant, a federal grant, to build the building, but yes, you're correct.
Where does the federal money come from, sir?
It will come more than likely from taxes, yes.
Is there not a clinic down at Clarendon and Cedar Lake Road that will serve anyone at any time?
That is correct.
Do you know that the same person that pushed for that clinic in this school pushed for it at the Waukegan School District about 20 years ago, 17 years ago, and the people in Waukegan for it? You know, I don't even know my neighbors anymore. They're lovely people, but I don't know them because most people move out. And some of the houses move in and out so fast you wouldn't even get to know them.
And most of them aren't paying taxes.
Where is the tax money coming from? I have no one to go to, whether the government pays my rent, whether I rent from an individual, if a landlord says they're going to raise the rent. Where do you people think the money's going to come from? People are strapped. All the energy costs went up. I mean, I understand the kids need stuff. Trust me, I got 6 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild. The kids need what they need. But because the state says you can have $29 billion in bonds, do you have to spend the whole $29 million? I mean, it's a beautiful school, but right now, don't you need classrooms? And you need a bigger gym. There are priorities that you need. And what happens if the outlying schools say they need it? The beach school, the Ellis school.
Indian Hill.
Well, we do have a plan for the maintaining all the other schools. And based on our enrollment projections, the high school is the main focus of where we're overcrowded. We are at near capacity in many of the elementary schools, but the projections don't show that we're going to grow tremendously in the elementary schools.
I understand. understand that, and I commend all you people for being in education. I really do. My daughter-in-law is in education, right? I mean, it's just that, and as far as the protection goes, just a simple story. I ordered candy from kids from the beach school when they came around for a fundraiser last year, okay? I never got it. No big deal. I called the school and I said, you know, I ordered the candy, blah, blah, blah. That family's not here anymore. So what I'm trying to tell you, sir, is the projection is there, but you can't guarantee that. A moving truck went down my street this morning at 5 o'clock. Not had it in, had it out. Just, if you ride around the whole Round Lake area, empty house after empty house, that people are losing their houses. Men are losing their jobs, women are losing their jobs.
Well, to clarify, there are basically our the taxes that we certify every year has two components. One component is the bonded interest component, and that's what we've been talking about.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to maintain over the next 14 years. The other component is, for lack of a term, I call the operating levy. And that's become more and more important to school districts around the state because the state has been lowering the amount of aid that they've been providing with school districts. And so to answer one of your questions, that's why the tax component for us to be able to continue to educate the students in where we want them to be, 21st century learning, is we are very dependent on that tax component. That operating tax component is also limited. There's a state statute that says we only can increase it by a certain percentage every year, and that percentage is tied to the consumer price index. And that's been 1.5% to 2%. I think next year we're projecting it to be 1.5%, but it's not a tremendous growth in our ability. We just don't have the authority to raise it 10% if that's what the district felt it needed. So that is limited. And unfortunately, the reason taxes are probably going up is because those property values have been going down.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The house value went like this, the taxes. All I'm saying is, did you last year go for the highest rate you could tax on the school?
We asked for the maximum tax rate, which was, I believe, a 2%, or maybe it was 1.7% increase last year.
I mean, the state does the same thing. The state of Illinois is in such dire straits. Where do you think the state of Illinois is going to get the money when they decide whatever they're going to do to straighten out the state? They're going to come to the taxpayers. The taxpayers have no place to go. They can't go to their boss if they're lucky enough to have a job and say, my taxes went up, I need more money. This is what people don't understand. Nobody understands it.
Half of this community doesn't pay taxes. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
That's what's so hard.
That's
You have
about the
families
whole
that come to
United States of
school.
America.
You have families that come to school, but their parents aren't paying taxes.
Exactly.
And that's the truth. As much as you want to see anything else, that's the truth. So we're going to have to take the brunt of it, or some of us might not be able to.
I don't have the money. My Social Security check didn't go up because of the consumer index.
People who have great jobs are all for
My insurance
this.
went up. My Medicare, my supplement to Medicare, my drug insurance. And it's only going to be worse because they're doing their damage to screw up the health insurance. Normal families are going to struggle with that. Where do you think the people are going to get the money? Even you can't answer that.
It's a good valid point. I mean, I just got the charts to where I'm supposed to go, and I looked at everyone's age, and the ages are so high that it's going to be like a laughing stock. They're going to be like, you know, and I want this, I need this. My daughter's 4'11", but she gets tumbled and stomped every single day. Her math class is in a hallway, but there has to be a different approach and to make it more knowledgeable for people to understand.
They're not making the hallways bigger, remind me.
No, but I mean, she can have a math class. She has a math class in a hallway right now.
Oh, I believe it.
And it's sad. It's very sad that in her lunch, by the time she gets her lunch, I mean, it's sad. It's sad, but half of these people that I have to go and put this stuff in the mailbox for or on their door, They're senior
The
citizens.
question, and I'm not on a guilt trip if I don't know, okay?
Yes.
I don't think you should put taxpayers on a guilt trip. What is
That's
the
bullying.
children? What I have to ask is, you keep saying the state says, the state says. Does the state say that you have to borrow 29 million?
No, it does
Or
not.
can you redo, take away some of it is beautiful, but it's not necessary. You need classrooms, you need teachers, you need a gym. You specified what you need. Why can't that be scaled down?
At this point, this is the ballot question. March 18th is when the election takes place, and this is the question that is on the ballot for March 18th. So this question has already been submitted, it's already been approved, and it's the question that's on the ballot.
You didn't answer my question.
One
You're
more
a bully,
item
that's
before-
what you are.
if I might answer your question. The facility master plan that we did enumerated $80 million of need at the high school. So this isn't even scratching the surface of what's needed at the high school. This is identifying exactly what you asked for. It's just primarily focused on classrooms.
I saw elevators.
It's required by code. We had a second,
Required
by
by
code. If you put a second floor into a building, you have to put an elevator in. It's required by code. This is,
Electrical? My husband was deputy.
it's actually IBC now. It's actually IBC code now. The International Building Code is now what the school districts are under, and that is
And there's
required by
no
code.
way you could scale down any of that.
At the expense of the teaching and learning, we would scale.
At what expense of teaching and learning?
We would lose classrooms.
Where's the gym? That's what you need.
This is the gym, these are the classrooms, these are classrooms, and these are classrooms. Those are all primary spaces for kids. That's all spaces that
When
we
you were
need.
doing your presentation, I saw a lot of,
All of these, every single space in this building is for kids. There's not, you can ask the teachers that are sitting up in the area, they're going, there's not one space dedicated for a teacher. There's not one space dedicated for administration. Every single space you see is focused on teaching and learning and for students.
you know, I'm not gonna argue with you, but I have cousins that are teachers, my daughter-in-law's a principal, okay, in different schools. You have schools that are closing in this area, I don't know if you're aware of
I
that or
am.
not, okay? When this gentleman who has the heart of the kids in his mind about study area, that they deserve more than a study period, I'm sorry. Why?
Because it's taking away from what my daughter can do as an individual. They don't have the space that they're needed. She had an 8 period in the study hall, sitting there doodling her fingers because she's already done everything else that she can do to be a productive student in this school district. And not only that, she has productive so well that she's a freshman, but she's doing better than some of the juniors in science. And with that said, that she can grow as an individual. And it's just now, it's about balancing. And she's doing better than half of the juniors, and that just says, not only, it is money, but that just says that my daughter, as to anyone else's children in this school district, can be productive. My sister-in-law graduated here, and she's now well-known in the Schuler program. She graduated here 2 years ago. And it's not what it is as a high school, it's what your child does in the high school. And yeah, we need space. And quite frankly, no one has the money to do anything. But at this point, your children, your grandchildren can grow in the school district as well, just as all of us can.
My youngest son is 50, okay? I have 3 sons, 51, 52, and 53 years old. They went through the whole mess that this school district went through.
So then why
And
did you
they
leave
became
them? Because it is your
productive. Why did
family.
I leave them?
But no, I'm saying leave the school district because.
I didn't leave it, I still live here.
That's what I'm saying, that it's ultimately up to you to vote no on the ballot. That's what she's trying to say. It's honestly ultimately up to you.
But it can be 20 yeses
But
and
my
10
husband was
noes.
productive, my 3 sons are very productive, and they went through worse problems than your daughter.
I'm sorry.
Teachers have to do. I did not mean that at all. Teachers are great, our kids need them. They're not weak.
Question?
Just a matter of clarification. I certainly understand the concerns that were just explained. And I know that the tax rate issue is going to be stabilized. But I think it also needs to be pointed out that the taxes that you pay right now are not going to increase because of the referendum. In fact, as you pointed out in some of your slides, over the next couple of years, the taxes will actually increase if the referendum isn't passed. Now, wait a minute. Now, admittedly, thereafter, the taxes will go down. But compared to where you are right now, and I think there's a little confusion in the way this is, in some quarters, is being portrayed, your taxes will not go up. I'll say that again. Your taxes will not go up as a result of the referendum. You may not go down in the out years. That can be admitted, but your taxes will not go up. And that seems to be the concern in some quarters, that people, especially on a fixed income, have a problem with taxes as they are right now. And obviously we'd like them to go down at some point in time. But they will not go up. And that's the issue that needs to be emphasized.
Educational center like that, why couldn't we build a freshman incoming center like that for the 29 million? Wouldn't that alleviate some stuff? I mean, if you're gonna pass it, it is gonna pass because you can have 20 people go and vote and 15 vote yes, so it probably is, unfortunately or fortunately. But couldn't you have some kind of incoming center and have that as like the EEC, something like that proposed?
We did, as we talked about today, this process has been ongoing, started in 2010, and just over the last 14 to 15 months, we started focusing on the high school, and that very topic was brought up. The downside of doing that is, if it's a building that's connected to the high school, you can take advantage of all the other things that take place in the high school, such as a cafeteria, such as a gymnasium. If it's a separate building, you would have to construct those same things to kind of duplicate. So it was talked about, but in the end, working through the design committee and the user groups with folks either at the high school or in the community, what the outcome was those 3 separate additions to this building.